Reverend Crystal Cox here. bbgoddesschurch@gmail.com in order to, donate to my church. Okay. Bruce Lipton. Now, a lot of Bruce Lipton stuff, the power of thought, the law of attraction, creating your own reality, biology of belief type stuff, because you literally change your biology by your belief. You move timelines with your belief. You create physical reality with your belief. And then, yes, the next stage of belief is knowing, right? Like the example that we were talking about yesterday is when you sit down on a chair, you know it's going to be there. Chair, there, rhymes. Did you know that? So you don't have a belief that the chair is going to catch you. You have a knowing. You believe so strong that you know for certain. And that's the kind of belief that creates reality. Whether it's a positive reality for you or a negative reality for you. And once we get to that place of neutrality, there's nothing positive or negative. However, there is things you prefer and things you don't. And that's your guidance. So this book is called Spontaneous Evolution, Our Positive Future. Bruce Lipton. So we're just going to kind of just tell you kind of what it's about, and you can decide if you want to buy it or whatever. It's just kind of a little bit of a babble and stuff like that. Okay, the book is dedicated to Mother Earth, Father Sky, and all imaginal cells. Love it, because all of your cells create reality. Okay, so this is some of the table of contents. What if everything you know is wrong? Okay. Wrong for who? There's no facts. There's only subjective perspective. Okay. Act locally, evolve globally. A new look at the old story. Okay. New look at the old story. I don't want to read that one just yet, but, that just reminds me of changing the past. Going into, like, say how you might have injured a leg or whatever, going into that day and changing what happened that day. I've did it a bunch. I read stuff in my early 20s, and I'm nearly 50 now, about remembering something in the past different than how it happened in order to change the energy of it and to change the memory of it. And also kind of a time traveling. So instead of, like, for example, I would use, like, my dad telling me how stupid I was because I'd give him the wrong tool in the toolbox and how it made me feel. And so I'd go back and I would give him the wrong tool, but he would act differently. And he would teach me what the right tool was, and I wouldn't be scared of him yelling at me or being in trouble or whatever. And so in my 20s and 30s, I worked on going back and changing those memories. And it actually changes what your belief is and what you've, taught and convinced yourself of what that moment meant. So instead of holding that line of abuse and trauma of someone being cruel to you and telling you how stupid you are because you handed them the wrong thing, but you didn't know it was the wrong thing, and people would kind of laugh at it, like, what happened in the past happened, you can't change it. But it's not true. You can change it. And in every now moment that you remember it a certain way, you've changed it. If you keep remembering it in some negative way that makes you feel bad and keep repeating that story, then you create more of that in your life. Okay, fractal evolution, time to see, let's see the one. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, let's just read this page here and see what we're going to read. Okay. Do you hear that child upstairs? Okay. Well, that's not what we want. All right. Sorry, I guess I wasn't prepared. This book's a little different than I thought. So, Biology of Belief by him, I definitely want to read. Spontaneous Evolution is quantum. The quantum effect. It is like the Mandela effect, timeline switching. We take a quantum leap into the next stage spontaneously by our belief. And so there's a lot of interesting stuff around that topic. Okay. Part 2. Let's see, we're going to read on page 85. Okay, 4 myth perceptions of the apocalypse. Why did I choose that? I don't know. When you find yourself on a vicious cycle, for goodness sake, stop pedaling. Swami Beyondananda. Well, I guess that's a good message for me today, right? If you're on a vicious cycle, your mind or your thought or whatever, just fucking stop pedaling. I mean, stop. People are like, oh, I can't stop thinking of this. I can't stop thinking of that. Well, just stop. Think of something else. Focus on something else. Watch something funny. Just stop. It's way easier said than done because you want justice, you want approval, you want to please someone, you want everyone to be okay, you want blah, blah, blah. Just change your focus and let a different reality come into play. Okay. We have seen how perceptions impact our biology and in turn help create our reality. We have also seen that our story, the philosophical lens of perception through which we see and understand the world, largely determines the parameters of our collective reality. Our review of history reveals that civilizations continuously evolve as one basal paradigm story gives way to another in a dynamic spiral dance. Civilization is, indeed, in a spiral dance, but we seem to be spiraling out of control. Ow, bitch. Blah, blah, blah. We're not spiraling out of control. Global crisis and mounting chaos signal an impending evolutionary turning point, impending doom. It's whatever you believe it is. Okay, a sign that we are close to the next paradigm handoff. So the chaos kind of builds up to the crescendo of the next huge handoff, a timeline change. Now that we have fully experienced the polarity of scientific materialism, our path is rapidly approaching its return to the powerful midpoint, the most powerful point in the chart. Twice before, we've been at the midpoint where the spiritual and material worlds are one. The first time was in the garden, when our animistic worldview made no distinction between spirit and matter. That was before we left on our great learning adventure. On the first leg of our evolutionary journey, civilization traversed a path that went deep into the non-material domain of an off-planet god. After completing our exploration of the spiritual realm, humanity's path momentarily passed through the midpoint again as its journey proceeded into the domain of materialism. That was the time when people of the Age of Enlightenment and deistic philosophy embraced both spiritual and material philosophy. The Declaration of Independence is a perfect example of blending spiritual idealism and practical realism. However, civilization's flirtation with balance was fleeting because humanity was rushing headlong into the polar realm of scientific materialism. Civilization's forays into the polarities of spiritualism and materialism have provided us with deep insights into the nature of reality. And now, as our evolutionary path is once again returning us to the midpoint, humanity is at a crossroad confronted with two fundamental paths. We've been on two timelines. Some people call it, or two Earths. There's going to be, we won't go into that. But, right, there's two distinct, different paths right now in front of you. Every thought, every action, every choice is a vote for one timeline or the other. One way of life or another. One paradigm or another. Okay. We can either unite as a global community to assimilate and integrate our polarized insights, thus making a quantum evolutionary jump, or we can continue the bipolar insanity as religious and scientific materialist fundamentalists duke it out to be the last paradigm standing on a dying planet. Whether or not we make this quantum leap depends upon how well we learn the lessons of the current and the previous paradigms. More than learning lessons, it's about your personal focus and your personal quantum leap. If we understand that evolution is the progression of accumulated awareness, then perhaps if we focus our collective awareness, we might just speed up the evolutionary process. Yes, it's all about focus. Okay, unveiling the old, revealing the new. In part 2, we take a close-up view of the life-threatening consequences of scientific materialism. This book has a lot of good stuff, but I don't like negative stuff or like gloom and doom sort of. Let's see. Okay, page 212. A state of emerging seeing. As we've already seen, the old paradigm beliefs exert their influence invisibly through every institution in society, as well as in beliefs firmly embedded in our own psyche. For transformation to take place, a critical mass of us must divest ourselves of these obsolete beliefs and then invest our awareness and activities so as to be in harmony with the new emerging paradigm. But in order to regrow the garden, we must first change the guard. I like that. Those dated beliefs of scientific materialism that stand guard at our doors of perception must be retired and relieved of duty. We must welcome a new basal paradigm, one that is based on an integration of new science and an ancient spiritual wisdom, one that weaves old dualities into a unified holistic worldview. Okay, in part three, we move from our current state of emergency and declare our desire for a state of emergent seeing. We offer a story to help us emerge from our limited identity as separate individual cells and come to recognize ourselves as unique and important interdependent cells in the body of humanity. Okay, let's see. The one suggestion. Maybe 10 commandments are too many. Maybe we all need is one suggestion. We're all in this together. Oh, God. We're all in this together. No, I like this Lipton guy, some of his stuff in the biology of belief, but I am so now focused on every belief, every thought creating reality and identifying my own beliefs and triggers. And some of this just seems, woe is me, and, yeah. Okay, let's see what year this book was. Now see, he wrote this after The Biology of Belief, The Wisdom of Your Cells and Spontaneous Evolution. Oh, this is Spontaneous Evolution. Okay. Well, hopefully The Biology of Belief he wrote after this, because your belief changing your biology is more important. Okay, so this is 2009. So, yeah. Sovereign equals under no king. Okay, let's read a little of that. Even more remarkable than the rebellion, for rebellions had occurred before, were the evolutionary ideals upon which this revolution was based. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator, oh my god, unalienable rights in pursuit of happiness. This bullshit. We didn't get that. We got something dark, and we are being liberated from it now. Let's just leave it at that. It's okay. This statement flew in the face of European law, even in its molten light. According to the law of England, God granted kingship to the king, who then may, as documented in the Magna Carta, bestow rights on his subjects. All these man-made paper laws that get to say one person gets to rule over us, I am sovereign. I have no ruler. I have no king. I have no president. I have no government. I have no ruler. I have no authority. I am sovereign. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Well, I do like a lot of Bruce Lipton stuff. Lipton stuff. You can check him out on YouTube and stuff. A lot of, taking care of your own thoughts and stuff. But this is just, well, it's a bit much. Bye for now. God is blessed.